Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to, I guess, a little bit of a cheeky interview that we have here. I have alongside myself Alex Goldschmidt, who will be joining the GTR24H team as a commentator for the Endurance E-Racing World Championship Series. Alex, first off, great to have you here with me. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad amidst these difficult times, Yusuf. So, yeah, but to be able to come on board with GTR24H, it's a championship that I've been keeping my keen eye on ever since I was approached by our good friend Nick Newcomb, heading up of a lot of things here at GTR24H and, looking at the calendar. Some fantastic tracks, and I can't wait to get stuck in.
I want to go straight to one point first, because I wanted to dive into, to the EEWC, but you mentioned one thing. So when Nick approached you, I just want to know, did he approach you the same way that he approached me? Did he come in, with swag, say, right,
Okay, this is quite an interesting story. I was actually in Germany, and it was mid-September, Sunday night. I just finished doing about 30 races for Rotax Max Challenge Germany. Predominantly, I'm well known in the world of Rotax karting, predominantly in Europe. And this is I've completed my third season, despite it being a bit truncated. It was 10 o'clock German time. I get a message all of a sudden from Nick on Facebook Messenger. And the first thing that he asked me, he said, "Are you available for the endurance, the EEWC finale for Le Mans?" And I went, "Sorry, mate, I'm commentating in Italy that weekend." Right. And, so we started talking, and I said, "Look, once I have things a bit more confirmed and everything, all three of my karting championships are confirmed for next season, which is great news." But we kept in touch, we kept talking, and I said, "Well, looks like my schedule has freed up quite spectacularly, so it looks like I'm going to be doing the majority of the season, possibly apart from the opening round in January."
And you mentioned that you do commentating for the Rotax series. How long have you been commentating? Because, you're not brand new.
No, this is not my first rodeo. I've been commentating since early 2017, more on a more sort of professional and long-term basis. But I got my start back in 2015, went and did a few voluntary commentaries whether it's through a hospitality suite or I ended up, I think my first circuit commentary was at Silverstone in 2016 for the BRSCC. August Bank Holiday weekend. We were myself and Jake. We were commentating off of Woodcote and Luffield on the national circuit at Silverstone. We had every single bit of rain thrown at us, wind. We even had that miniature tornado, which, if anyone might remember, it flew past Silverstone, went to Rockingham, and then took out Jack Goff's hospitality when he was with WSR that year in BTCC. So there's a running joke between myself and Jake Sanson going like, "Yeah, we're still sorry for that," even though it was nature's fault, not ours. But yeah, 2017, I started in commentary in karting, starting actually where Lewis Hamilton first got his teeth, Rye House Kart Raceway, just outside of Stevenage, his hometown. And from there, it spiraled on. I then started to do Daytona D-Max. I got a phone call from a good friend of mine, Chris McCarthy, who will be known to all those GTR24H viewers out there. Obviously, he was with us in 2018, and he basically said, he phoned me up 2 weeks before a first round of a European Championship, and he said, "Fancy a trip to Belgium?" And as they say, the rest is history. So I've now moved into commentating and casting full-time along with social media creation. So the client base is going up and up and up, but it's a real privilege to be able to expand my esports casting through GTR24H.
Yeah, and something that I would like you to expand on is, you mentioned you kind of started with that gig over at Silverstone. What was it like going from, karting at somewhere like Silverstone to going to commentate on the karting races? Because obviously when you're at Silverstone, you mentioned I think you said you can only see Luffield and Brooklands, whereas with karting you can see the entire circuit. So yeah.
Yeah. That was a car race meeting. So we had Fun Cup, we had Silhouettes, we had the Golf GTI Mark V series and the GTI Mark II Championship. So and we had quite a lot of racing. We even had the Fiesta Junior Championship run by the BRSCC. So it was more. I ended up sort of doing cars first, but then at karting, it's a completely different game changer altogether. Pretty much at every circuit I've been to over the last 3 seasons, I can see pretty much the whole of the track. So I've commentated around the UK. I've been to Gleneagles, Rowra, PF International, Rye House, which I've already mentioned, Shellington. So I've been around quite a bit in the UK, but then my travels internationally have been Sweden, Italy, Germany, Belgium, to name but just a few. You can see every karting tracks there, Yusuf. You can see pretty much everything, but on every single race meeting overseas, there is always a live stream. So I do the circuit PA and also the live stream commentary at the same time.
Does that make it different? Does that make it somewhat difficult when you do want to do, the circuit PA and the live stream at the same time? Because I know with myself, sometimes the broadcast shows specific images, and you want to talk about another image that might be happening, and
it is quite interesting, because the thing is that with the team that I work with for the live streams over in Europe, the thing is that the circuit PA is already in place. So it's basically you either have a set of cans on your head or you have a second microphone in your hand, and there is a live stream microphone anyway. So it sort of takes all the technical logistics out of your hands, and someone else looks after it for you. Do the sound checks normally before a broadcast. So everything's always T's are crossed, I's are dotted.
And you mentioned that you've been commentating or racing for a while, but you mentioned that you started, or I should say you mentioned before we came live, that you started on sim race commentary earlier on this year. How have you, what's been the transition like from going to IRL racing to online racing?
It's been a quite interesting dynamic, because Chris actually gave me, he said to me, Alex, I know you're going to do a good job. And like he said, look, if you can do real racing, sim racing, there is a lot that you can actually extrapolate from your skills as a commentator. I mean, we've seen other people make the transition the other way, like say Actrol Vision, Luke Crane. He's been doing a lot of stuff with McLaren. He's done the DTM Trophy this year with Vigor Media. So it goes to show that if you're a commentator in the real world, you can be a commentator in esports, and also vice versa. So the divide is quite easy to transfer, but there are still, I'm still learning, is one of the things. You're looking not just at what's going on the screen, you're also keeping an eye on what might be happening, a battle maybe say in the mid-pack, and then you're looking at the times, who's in the car, who's really putting in the hot laps, who's closing on who, is there a three-way scrap, four-way scrap, is it 2x2 side-by-side like we saw at the Nürburgring Nordschleife for 24 hours for about 3 hours in the night, which Nick sent me the footage of. I have never seen that. But it was absolutely ridiculous. But it just shows to go the caliber of the field that we've got this year in GTR24H for the EEWC.
It's funny you mentioned that, because that was the first thing Nick sent to me as well. He said, right, Yusuf, here, look at this video, and he sent me that. Well, I think it was the entire broadcast of the Nürburgring Nordschleife 24 hours. He said, watch it, and
yeah,
don't tell Nick this, but I didn't watch all of it. Just stays between.
Don't worry, we'll keep that between us.
I know Nick's still waiting for me to travel up once restrictions ease up slightly, and apparently he's got a sim rig ready at Croft to challenge me on. You mentioned
I might have to come and spectate if so that at least we can have a bit of a commentator's perspective on a commentator versus our team leader.
I mean, to be honest, I think, Alex, you need to be jumping in, and then whichever one of us isn't in the sim is just right behind the other person in their ear, just almost ASMR commentating for them beautifully.
Yes, and using those dulcet tones to good effect as well, I might add.
It wouldn't be off-putting in the slightest.
No, not at all.
Alex, you mentioned a whole host of countries that you have traveled to for karting series, but I did notice that Denmark wasn't on that list, so...
Well, I will be honest, I have made a couple of trips, because obviously to get to Kristianstad, which is in the south of Sweden, you have to travel through Denmark. So Stansted to Copenhagen is actually a direct route for flying for me. So okay. I've been to Denmark, only sort of like in transit, and then straight into a hire car and over. But I've heard it's a wonderful place in the world over in Denmark, and obviously it's been the host of the grand finale for the our version of the 24 Heures du Mans. Sorry, my sort of linguistic skills are coming out now as well.
Way better than mine. Way better than mine, though. Right? So I do have to give you some tips when you go to Denmark. They make this pizza, right? And it is huge. So I cannot describe how big these pizzas are. It must be a good, I almost want to say like 18-inch pizza. And it feeds all of us. So we get to Denmark, and then Peter or Peter's lovely wife goes out, grabs I think it's like 2 or 3 pizzas, and it actually lasts the entire weekend. Just these 3 boxes of pizza. So you definitely have to try that at some point when you do come over.
Yes, definitely. I'm looking now that I've got something to look forward to come over to Denmark for next October. That's definitely on the cards. That's for sure.
Well, Alex, it has been an absolute pleasure to have this chat with you, and I look forward to seeing you on the broadcast and hopefully working with you as well over the course of the 2021 season. Thank you for your...
Likewise. Thank you very much for having me on, and it's good to be part of the team.